Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mostly Football, episode 9. Tonight, I got both my boys with me. TJ Whiskey is coming off a little bit of dinner. He's a little late. I'm not gonna hold that against him. we got Nate in the house. We're talking UFC 275. We're talking NBA Finals happening right now. And we're talking AFC East. Ooh, Buffalo Bills. Ooh, yeah. Guys, what is going on? TJ, I immediately threw you under the bus for comedic effect. I'm sorry. I apologize for that right off the bat.
I'm fine with it.
But you said you had a nice dinner. And Nate, you're here. You've been here for a good half hour already. We discussed maybe cutting TJ from the show. You know, he's always late. He's always going to pet his dog or do something weird in the middle of the show. He's totally disinterested. I mean, the guy's just really off the rails here. But in the end, he looks good. He smells good. We'll keep him on the show. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Turns out, in Boston, the Golden State Warriors stole the victory in Game 4 to tie it up. The series is now 2 games apiece. Currently, we are at 7:54 to go in the second quarter. Golden State is up 32 to 24 with a shot.
You said 7:54? Jesus, you're extremely ahead of me.
Well, that's what happens when you pirate.
I'm at 8:13.
That's what happens when you pirate, Nate. You get a little bit behind.
I ain't pirating shit. My shit's legal.
Yeah. Let's just say the FBI might be knocking on your door any minute now.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell was up with your sunglasses? I mean, seriously.
What's wrong with my sunglasses?
It's like Kim Kardashian and the Terminator had a baby and your glasses popped out.
I like to cover my entire orbital area.
Oh, it rimmed out.
Yeah, I saw that about 5 minutes ago. Anyway, we're talking a big fight night happened Saturday night. Glover Teixeira defending his championship against Yuri. Hang on, Prochazka. Anyway, one of those is right. It was a great fight night. That fight happened, went all the way down to the end. 30 seconds left to go, and I won't spoil it just yet. We had 2 fights between ladies, and they were not cat fights. Let me tell you what.
I saw the highlight ending of which one was it? I think it was
Valentina.
No,
Joanna or Valentina.
I can't think of it, but I saw like towards the end they just started throwing hands, and they were just throwing hands, and they just went to them. Somebody got knocked out, and it was the end. I'm like, that's how it should end. That's how those fights should end.
They were not throwing purses; they were throwing hands. Zhang Wei Li, or as I like to refer to her.
Yeah, that's the highlights I saw.
Yes, Zhang Wao Li, just absolutely putting Joanna Jędrzejczyk to sleep during their fight. And then you had Valentina Shevchenko take on, I believe her name was Tayla Santos. And that was a heck of a fight as well. Went the distance, controversial ending. TJ, did you happen to catch any highlights or any whiff of what happened on Saturday night?
No.
Where were you Saturday night, if you don't mind me asking?
I was streaming.
Oh, okay. Where can we find you for your streaming?
On Twitch.
At?
The purple site.
Oh, my God. Well, TJ's shy about plugging. That's why he has so many followers, and that's why things are going the way they're going.
Yep.
The professor is a loyal follower, though. Thank you, Professor. I'm sure he's in your chat each and every single day. Nate, how was your weekend?
Weekend was all right. Wasn't too bad.
It's one of those weekends, right? It just
I got to do some swimming. Just got to hang out and got to do some swimming.
TJ, I know what you want to say. Don't say it.
Took me a minute, but I got it.
We are going to start off with what happened between Zhang Wei Li of China and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the Polish assassin. Right here we have on the screen, you see a victorious Zhang Wei Li just about to celebrate after knocking Joanna Jędrzejczyk to the mat, giving her a spinning back fist. Unfortunately, we don't get to see any of the action as far as the contact because we're sick people and we like to see knockouts. But you do get to see the after effect, and Zhang Weili celebrates. So here it is for the world to see. We all are watching Zhang Weili celebrate her victory against Joanna Jędrzejczyk Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. Bleacher showed the whole thing. That's what I saw.
And I tell you, guys,
that's probably, when it comes to female sports, there's very few that I watch. When it comes to UFC women's fights, I'm all for it. Like they throw and they go the distance, and it's so worth it.
I'm normally all about girl on girl action, but I'm gonna go change shirts. I'll keep shit going. You're doing
it. It is so worth it.
I mean, I don't know about you, Nate, but and I'm being honest here. If I was to fight Zhang Weili, she is powerful enough. Like, I think Joanna would probably like give me punches and bunches, and I wouldn't look very good after the fight. But I do think eventually I'd come out on top. Maybe not. She probably would choke me. She's very skilled in that aspect, but I know I wouldn't stand a chance against Zhang Weili.
But it was the other fight where I think the chick got her orbital bone broke. Yeah,
really?
She fried her. It was her last name was with a J. No, it wasn't her. I think it's her. I think she had her. I think she broke her. I think she fractured her orbital bone.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. That's
no,
when you
not
start
at all.
wearing,
Jesus,
start wearing sunglasses like this right here. But yeah, Joanna was coming in. Zhang Weili, she kind of gave her. Joanna kind of gave Zhang like a grazing blow, and Zhang kind of parlayed that into a spinning back fist that just connected perfect right on the temple. And as you can see, I mean, this is the after effect. For those who are listening to audio only, we are available on Facebook. You can find us at Mostly Football Pod. And not only are we on Facebook, we're fancy, folks. We're on YouTube. Don't you even think we're not. Currently, we're on my personal YouTube channel. You go to Dylan Busby. You'll find it. I'll provide the links. It'll all be there, the whole 9 yards. But find us on YouTube. Get the video content to go with the audio content. I'm constantly fighting Vince McMahon, Dana White. We're talking all the time about what I can and can't show, so we'll see if this goes through. But, boy, Zhang Weili with an absolute dominant victory in the second fight between her and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Yeah, Joanna, again, just the type of fighter. She's like a Diaz. You know, she's going to give you punches and bunches. She's going to give you plenty of attitude. But if you are more powerful and you can have one strike knockout power like that, it is going to be a problem for you.
100%.
TJ, while you were away, we were discussing, you got to see that specimen right there. Do you think you would, how long do you think you would last in a fight with Zhang Weili?
Hang on. Where?
The next fight on the card was Valentina Shevchenko defending her championship against contender Taila Santos.
That's a bad photo. It's a bad photo.
A terrible photo. For those just listening, this is a photo of Taila Santos having Valentina Shevchenko completely wrapped up from behind in a rear naked choke. Santos has her back to the cage. She's in an upright position, total leverage on Shevchenko. It's kind of like a piggyback position, but they're both on their butts against the cage, and Shevchenko looks absolutely doomed. Santos's arm is not under the chin. She's not in a choking position, but you can very easily do what they call a neck crank and just kind of crush the jaw and twist the neck from that position.
Not feel pleasant.
Yeah, so apparently I didn't actually watch this fight, and the highlights were not available, so I didn't see what happened. But from what I read, from the other stuff I was watching, it ended up being the case where Santos was able to get Shevchenko down a few times, but I guess she didn't really do much with it. No real striking, no submission attempts, and Valentina had a takedown of her own to go with some dominant striking of her own. So after, I believe it was 5-round fight for the championship, Shevchenko came out on top to a lot of people's surprise. Let's see if I can catch a different photo here. This neck crank is just awful.
There's another one.
She starts to slip out. She starts to lean and slip out of it there. Coming down, I think it started. Oh yeah, Shevchenko sort of gets the hip toss right here. That's where she got her points with that takedown. And then you finish with Shevchenko. She knows it. You can see both their faces. I mean, the faces kind of tell the tale. Santos, her right eye's closed, a big old egg on her right cheek. And then Shevchenko, she looks a little winded, but certainly no damage done to the face. And that was that for that fight. But a fantastic fight, a much different fight than when Rose Namajunas recently took on, I believe it was Esparza. Probably got that wrong, but hopefully she won't be too offended. Find me and beat the shit out of me.
Jesus.
Guys, the final fight, the one that rounded it out, the championship fight. Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Pachuchka.
It's time for him to give it up.
And here's a photo.
It's time for him to give it up. It's time for him to give it up.
My damn, he got hit so hard his hair fell off.
Like,
If I had a gash like Yuri in my eyebrow,
dude,
I would.
Bro, I didn't even see that until you pointed it out. I thought that was his eyebrow.
No, that is a big old open wound in his eyebrow.
Welcome to Mostly Football, where we talk about other men's gashes. You're welcome, America.
We got TJ Byrne coming in with the Ghost Boards. Thank you, TJ. Just Be a Dad podcast coming in. Let's go, JETS. I guess we know what Just Be a Dad podcast is all about. Losers.
Yes.
Folks, I'm just kidding. I'm going to plug Just Be a Dad at the end. Trust me. You can find them. You can find us Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Are we on YouTube yet?
I'm working on it.
We're working on it, baby. You got to get, I think, 1,000 subscribers before you get to monetization.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a high bar. It's a high bar YouTube wants you to set before Colgate and all these antidepressants start putting their ads on your channel. But anyways, this was the first time in Glover Teixeira's, I believe it was 20-year professional career, that he was submitted. It was a 5-round slobber knocker. Went back and forth on the feet, on the ground. So exciting. And then at the very last 30 seconds, Yuri gets into position to get Teixeira in a rear naked choke. It actually wasn't a rear naked choke. It was more like a side darce type of inverted thing. But Yuri, the contender, gets the win at the very end, breaking the hearts of many. Teixeira, he had won the championship last year. It was the first time he'd ever experienced the gold in his entire just Iron Man career. And he loses it in his very first defending bout. So
that means it's time to give it up.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's 42 going on 43. So
it's time to give it up. It's time to give it up.
Hell of a career.
You're going 20 years. You finally got the championship. Your first title defense, you lose it. Yeah, it's time to give it up. It's time to go. Because you don't know how long it's going to be before you see that again.
MFers, kind of a weird storyline going into tonight's NBA Finals.
Adam Silver.
Matchup here. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Experiencing COVID symptoms, perhaps? Did he test positive? We're going to find out. We got Mike Greenberg and someone with a very great head of hair and vision from the NBA about to tell us the story as we listen along.
The commissioner of the NBA is not here. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Greeny, Adam Silver has entered into the league's health and safety protocols. He did not make the trip to San Francisco for Game 5. I texted with Adam Silver this afternoon, and he lamented his quote.
This from Adrian Wojnarowski.
With having to enter protocols.
That guy has
he can clear those protocols, and
he's the guy, right? He's like the NBA chef.
Try to return if he can before these finals.
If it don't come from him, I don't believe it.
NBA Finals as commissioner.
Silver is a living skeleton.
Possibly as soon as
he
Thursday,
really is.
and maybe even Sunday in Game 7. There will be a trophy presentation. Unclear if Adam Silver will be back.
Do we know if he's vaxxed
in these finals in the arena?
We don't know. That's what we don't know.
Is that what is his name? Mike Greeny?
It is.
Dang.
From Golick and Mike in the morning.
Yeah.
Did you listen to that show?
I did. Sad that they parted ways.
It was sad. Currently, I believe we are. Well, we're doing in the NBA Finals.
We almost at halftime. I don't think we hit halftime yet.
Game 5, almost at halftime. Currently in San Francisco tonight?
Yep, they're in San Francisco tonight.
San Francisco, Golden State for the Golden State Bridge, of course. It's called the Golden State because back in the day, everyone went out to the California hillside thinking they could strike gold. I have no idea. That's probably why they call it the Golden State, right?
Who knows? But Boston can't lose this game tonight.
Why is Texas called the Lone Star State?
Because it has one star in its flag.
Exactly. Self-explanatory.
You know what the Texas State motto is?
Yeah, but why does self-explanatory? Don't give me that. Why does it have one star on its flag then?
Who knows why it has one star, but it does. That's why it's the Lone Star State.
Well, don't tell me it's self-explanatory if you can't explain it then. This guy.
It's in the name, Lone Star. Why is it called Lone Star? Look at the flag.
Oh, my
One
God.
star.
Oh, my banners didn't even save from what I wanted.
Curry has 5 points. 2 of 7.
Oh, this is just wild.
Completely different turnaround from game 4.
I made banners before the show and they didn't save.
The Lone Star represents all of Texas and stands for the state's unity as one for God, state, and country. Lone Star State. You're welcome.
Oh, that's just the corniest thing I ever heard in my life.
Oh, you're just mad because they said the word God in it. Hush.
Yeah, get out of here. I praise many gods.
Jesus.
Let's talk Poseidon. Let's talk Neptune.
Don't forget Uranus.
Where's the fall at? Oh, there it is. Come on. All right. You got to be a little bit more subtle than that, dude.
We're going to end up getting flagged for play-by-play.
Oh!
He missed both free throws, didn't he?
Dylan's internet is really acting up tonight because he keeps freezing.
Because Dylan's using cheap, whatever he's using, rabbit ears, whatever that is.
No, first of all, you guys get out of here. I'm plugged in, so my internet is fantastic.
You've frozen twice on my end.
And your internet, sir, are you plugged in?
I'm plugged in.
You ain't plugged in.
I'm plugged in. I'm going to show you plugged in. We're going to go prison rules.
And my rabbit ears are on point.
Oh, nice shot.
Exactly, right? That corner with the double team. Oh, my God. See, that's the thing. I wondered, so what would you guys do? What would your strategy be? Because I read about this from NBA.com. If you're the Celtics, are you doubling Curry and leaving other guys open, knowing that Curry's likely to get his points anyway through the double? Or are you just kind of treating the Warriors like teams have treated LeBron in the past? Like, we're going to let LeBron do his thing and make sure nobody else can, so he has to have a fantastic night.
That's the problem. The problem is with LeBron, I'm gonna let LeBron do him. Reason is he got most of his game is 2 points. 3 points add up fast.
Yeah.
You got 5, that's 15 points there. 5 threes is 15 points. Easy. I'll give up 5 2s in a heartbeat, but I'm not giving up 5 threes. That before you know you got a 15-point lead, and now you trying to scramble and figure it out. Nah. That's why a lot of teams play Steph Curry 94 feet, because you have to, because he can shoot from pretty much anywhere on the court.
It's tough because Thompson's still, Thompson, Wiggins, Pools come on pretty good at times. Like, they're still so dangerous.
Since this series has started, they've been extremely inconsistent. Clay has been inconsistent. Wiggins has probably been one of the more consistent players so far, but Draymond, obviously, he's been complete dog water. Jordan Poole, he's been on and off. It just kind of varies. But Steph, obviously, the thing is, if you really want to be considered one of the greats, right? You want to be considered a great, you have to do what the greats have done. You got to do what Jordan has done. You got to do what LeBron has done. You have to do what Kobe has done. Shaq, you have to be able to carry a team to victory. You have to. Like, if you want to be considered one of those top players, you have to be able to carry your team. And if you can't do it, I can't consider you a great. I mean, he's kind of sort of done it, but I need to see like if they win this final series, he's definitely getting finals MVP. There's
God.
He's been to the finals 3 times.
Oh my God, the layup he just pulled off against Al Horford.
Right?
Oh my God.
That's
in the moment.
A championship mentality. You're the best player on the team. You have to show you the best player on the team. You have to. If I'm the best player on this team, I got to show him the best player on the team. And that's what he's doing.
The nasty drifting to the right.
Get off me.
From the hip, layup off the backboard with Al Horford draped all over him. I mean, just disgusting points were just scored by
Al Horford knew it was going in because he knew nothing he can do about it.
Oh, my God. TJ, tell me about the best basketball point you ever scored. Like, what were you most proud of in your basketball history?
Fouling out in the first quarter.
Ooh, when did this happen?
8th grade.
Of?
Middle school.
You expect me to know this? Come on, man. What, I got to pull teeth? Tell me all about it. We got time.
Not much to tell, man. I was a shitty basketball player, but I knew how to get rebounds and foul out, so that's what I did.
What position did you play?
Whatever defensive position there is, and it wasn't center.
All right. So first quarter, you get 4 fouls and you're out.
3 fouls, and then I got ejected.
What's the most points you remember scoring?
3.
Jesus.
Was it like 2 points and then you got a foul shot, or was it a 3-pointer?
No, it was the biggest Hail Mary I've ever thrown in my life, and it just happened to land, and I was totally goofing around in a game.
Nate, did you ever play basketball in school?
Never. I only played in gym and at recess.
I don't believe this.
No, I've never played basketball for school. Never. Football was the sport. That and powerlifting. And
by the way,
never played basketball.
For those just listening, you truly are missing out because although it never sounds like TJ is committed to the show, he is absolutely 100% committed to this show. He came on here after eating dinner. You know, he could have easily gone to bed, but he showed up here on this show wearing a black T-shirt with his New York Jets background, and he said, "Guys, should I wear a green shirt so that I blend in?" And we all said yes. And initially, he was like, screw that. He went, folks, and got a green shirt to blend into his New York Jets background. And I would just like to do one of these for him.
That's why you shouldn't wear headphones. You should take your headphones off.
Man, dude, those things are sensitive, huh?
They're extremely sensitive, apparently.
Wow. So those are the types, like you're in Call of Duty, you can hear the footsteps from a mile away?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't play Call of Duty, but yeah.
Apex, my bad.
Yeah, there you go. Or the Quarry. I just picked this game up Saturday. Ooh.
It's called the Quarry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Guys, let's get into a little bit of AFC East.
Can we talk football, please?
We're getting into our own wheelhouse here. It's halftime. You know, we might as well dive right into it.
Is it halftime? Yeah, it is halftime.
Nate's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I thought it was, but I wasn't paying attention.
TJ, you're in luck, my friend.
Hey, before we start, since we're referring to the AFC East, speaking of the AFC East,
yes,
I got a notification from Bleacher stating that the Miami Dolphins wanted Sean Payton, and they were willing to offer him a 4-year deal worth $100 million.
Wow!
Wait, how much?
$100 million for 4 years.
Oof.
Yeah.
Even though and I think this was before they hired their coach, but I think Sean Payton was a really coveted coach, but I really think this. I think that if what's his name? The one in Dallas right now.
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. If Mike McCarthy fails, and he probably will this season, he gets fired and they hire Sean Payton. That's what's going to happen.
You think Dallas is going to go after Sean Payton?
Yeah, because him and Jerry Jones, they kind of go back. So I think that's what's going to. If Mike McCarthy fails again, I think they fire him and they hire Sean Payton, because I think Sean Payton wants to be in Dallas.
I have heard things like that before. Yes,
I do. I think now that he retired. I mean, obviously he. I think he didn't want to have to redevelop a quarterback again. I think that's why he retired this past season, because he just didn't feel like dealing with the whole Jameis and this and that. I think he retired. I think he sees Dallas as a prime organization.
They ain't gonna do nothing until they get rid of their offensive coordinator.
Well, yeah. Think about it. He was the offensive coordinator in New Orleans. I mean, look how prolific they were. So,
and I'm going to step in for just a minute because I have a rant about not just Cowboy fans, but Cowboy local media.
Oh, please step in.
There is a mad rumor going around, and I know there's not a whole lot going on with Dallas right now, so they're trying to find something. The local radio stations here in Dallas are now on this DK Metcalf rumor going around that he's coming to Dallas. First of all, Dallas can't afford him. Second of all, not going to happen. And third of all, if it does happen, they're idiots. But can we stop all these stupid rumors, because they can't afford him? It's that simple.
Oh, they can always afford him.
I mean,
I've become over the idea that
no, because you kind of got two. You got Dak's big contract, you got Zeke's big contract.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
Lamb still is going to end up getting paid.
He's on his rookie contract.
Huh? I mean, yeah, but you still got to play. What's his name? Blake Jarwin. He wants his money.
No, Schultz does.
Oh, Schultz. Yeah, there he goes.
And screw him. He can walk. I mean, they don't need him. I'm just saying, with these teams, like a few years ago, the Eagles were like right with the Saints as far as being, so far above the cap, and they'll never be able to sign anyone. And then they ended up being able to. It was fine.
Well, the cap goes up every year, so they kind of like manage it. They wasn't in like we are. Like we're in. Like, thankfully, next season won't be as bad, but us trading Matt Ryan, we had a lot of dead money, and that killed us this year. So next year we should be fine. But
I'm not saying that you're wrong, TJ. I just think when it comes to those types of things, I think the contracts are, and I could be wrong here, but they end up being less important and less complicated than maybe we want to think. I think it's more just what a team is willing to give up. So, what are the Cowboys, willing to give up for DK Metcalf? It would probably be a first-round pick, I would imagine, and then who knows what else.
I mean, but you got to think about it. His contract, I think his contract's up this year or next year, because he was a third round. He was a late round. He was like a fifth or sixth round draft pick. So typically they usually get about a 2 or 3 year deal. So, because the first rounds usually get 4 years, obviously. I think second might get a 4 year, depends on who he is. He may end up getting a third, but it just kind of depends. But I think he might have like a 2 year or 3 year deal.
And it just seems like if they were committed to having this trio of big time wide receivers, then they didn't have to trade Amari Cooper. So I don't feel like they have this thirst to trade for a different big name guy. I think they're probably set offensively, even though it seems lackluster. Hopefully for them, Michael Gallup can come back sooner than later so they can have him and CeeDee Lamb. But as an Eagles fan, I would certainly hate to see that. As a general outsider, I don't see it happening.
A lot of times it's just talking points. It's how I feel about First Take and the skip and what's the First Take, and then there's whatever show that Stephen A does. It's all it's just talking points. It's just how to get attention, get ratings. That's all it is. They come up with these outrageous ass ideas and they just spew them out. So it won't happen. But
no, I mean hypothetically,
it's a great hypothetical.
Our next show is going to be the NFC East. But real quick, since you brought it up, TJ, hypothetically, if the Cowboys were to acquire DK Metcalf, let's just say they traded a draft pick for him, does that put them right as solid 100% the division winners?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Because Dak gonna miss DK by 5 yards.
That says a lot about the state of the Cowboys. I don't necessarily think he is a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a clutch quarterback. I think when the pressure's really on, he's not the chunk of coal that becomes a diamond per se. But he's better than a lot of quarterbacks.
The problem is not Dak. The problem is the owner, and the problem is Kellen Moore calling the shots. That's the problem in Dallas.
And the problem this year is going to be the offensive line because they lost a few pieces.
Oh, 100%.
Also lost Randy Gregory, so hopefully, we'll see.
Dak's going to get his fucking ear blown off a lot of times this season. But I just hate to see it, but it might happen.
But as far as the AFC East goes, we're starting off with the New York Football Jets, Jets, Jets. Ed,
Your
the fireman.
Super Bowl champs of 2032. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, baby. In another 11 years, these New York Jets are going to be a dynasty, according to TJ. Right, TJ?
I didn't say dynasty. I said Super Bowl champs for 1 year.
All right, they're going to win in a year.
Let's see. So we got, because honestly, I don't really care. Let's see. So offensively, they got Zack Wilson.
Yep.
They don't have any big name running backs. Let's see.
Well, they drafted Breece Hall.
They did. I forgot about him. Yeah. That was one hell of a pickup for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered something. Sorry to backpedal a little bit, but the Cowboy, he was a former Cowboy. Marion Barber passed away recently.
Yes, he did.
He did. R.I.P. to the Barbarian.
He was found in his first go home. 39 years old.
We know the cause of death?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't.
Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
I'll tell you what, it definitely wasn't.
Please don't do it. Don't just let it go.
Has nothing to do with Justin Bieber either.
God damn it! I knew he was gonna do that.
Anyways,
Jesus Christ.
Back to the Jets. So this team finished 4-13 last season. They are head coached by a guy I really like in Robert Saleh. He looks like the King Xerxes from 300. I always think of him when I think of Robert Saleh.
I don't like him for the simple fact that I don't like defensive head coaches. I don't like head coaches that are defensive minded because their mindset is defense, and they don't really make their appropriate adjustments as far as offense goes.
Oh my God.
And I mean, think about it. What did he do last year? He got Zack Wilson. He got Zack Wilson murdered last year. He almost lost his future last year.
Yeah, it was the first year with a rookie quarterback.
No, that's not the point. You didn't protect him. And even then, there were games where you didn't even change. He didn't change the protection at all. Remember? All right, let's go back. So remember the game when Dallas played the Falcons and they didn't have their starting left tackle and Dak was getting his ass handed to him. And at no point did Jason Garrett make any forms of protection changes. That's what happened with Zack Wilson all year last year until he got hurt.
But here's the thing. Mike Tomlin is a defensive head coach.
No, I disagree. I would disagree with that one.
No, he coached defense. You can't disagree with that. Before he was Pittsburgh's head coach, he was a defensive positional coach. Marvin Lewis, defensive head coach, had all
how it turned out for him.
Had all that success with Baltimore. That success with Baltimore, and then as head coach of the Bengals, took them to the postseason for several seasons in a row.
Yeah, and what happened each year?
They lost, but they made the postseason.
No success.
I'm just saying you make it sound like defensive head coaches are useless when they're not.
They typically are. I mean, there's not a success. There's not how many success stories?
Tony Dungy, defensive head coach,
One.
won a Super Bowl.
What's another one?
You're gonna make me
I'm
do
gonna
this.
make you do it. I'm gonna make
do this when my brain is filled with things and I can't just pull up names. Make me do this.
Offensive-minded head coaches are a lot better than defensive-minded head coaches. That's how I feel about that.
Nate, I'm going to ask you a simple question.
What?
Who was the head coach for the Bulldogs last year?
Kirby Smart.
Okay. What was their defensive standings throughout the year in the college? What was their defensive standing? Were they number 1? Were they number 10?
We were top all year. What's your
Shove
point?
it right in his face, baby.
What's your point?
So you're going to sit there and tell me that your head coach is not a defensive-minded guy?
He is.
Yeah.
You just proved yourself wrong.
God,
No, I
wish
didn't.
had my sound effects.
No, I didn't prove anything.
Yes, you did.
Listen, go tight. Because, again, defensive-minded head coaches.
You just said he was a defensive-minded coach.
I said yes.
Yeah. Back
Yes.
all you want. He's a
But
defensive-minded
he is
head coach.
not. He is not a great coach. That's
Sure.
what I don't like defensive head coaches because they don't make the adjustments offensively. If you watch our defense played great all year. They made the adjustments. We didn't make any adjustments offensively last year. None.
Sir.
Listen, because
Sir.
you're not. So here's the thing: you can't sit up here and say, "Well, he's a great." No, listen, our offense didn't play much okay, so I'm gonna put you like this. Our starting quarterback, Stetson Bennett, throughout the season had 11 passes all year in the fourth quarter. 11. Okay?
And
Yeah,
then y'all won a national championship, too.
That's
because
great
of it.
defense.
Yes, great defense. But again, our offense struggled. But if we didn't have that
You
defense,
still won a championship. What are you complaining about?
because y'all are trying to twist something. Listen, defensive head coaches don't make great offensive coach. I don't like it for offense. That's how I feel.
Of course.
And when it comes to them making offensive adjustments mid-game, they don't do it very well. You saw it last year. And look, we lost to Alabama. If it wasn't for them not having enough great teams in the top 10, we wouldn't have been in it. If they'd have been a better team in the top 4, top 5, we wouldn't have made it back to the national championship. I guarantee it.
If we can play the what-if game all day year.
No, but again, listen, you're not – see, what you're saying, well, you won a national championship. That doesn't mean anything. Our offense struggled the whole year. Our offense struggled. This is what you're not listening to. Our offense struggled.
But they won the championship.
Our offense, because if you think about, if you listen to what people talk, when they say, well, they won a championship, yeah, but their offense did this, their defense did this.
And they still won a championship.
Offense, you can keep saying that. Our offense struggled.
You can keep saying that too.
I'm a realistic person when it comes to sports. I'm a realistic person. I don't just see our offense was bad. Our offense was awful last year. The only reason we did what we did is because of our defense. Kirby Smart, he's a great defensive coach. Great, I give it to you. But when it came to making offensive adjustments, he's fucking awful.
I'm just trying to quote
awful behind him.
I'm just trying to quote the great Dominic Toretto. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
I'm not saying what I started is I said defensive head coaches don't make great head coaches. I said that's how I feel. You may disagree. You can disagree.
Here's why I disagree.
There's not a lot of success stories as far as defensive head coaches winning championships.
Here's why I disagree. The greatest dynasty we have ever seen in our lifetime was headed by a defensive head coach.
Who?
Bill Belichick.
You think Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded head coach?
I know he is because he was a defensive positional coach before he was the head coach.
Because you're a defensive positional coach doesn't mean you're defensive.
Dude, yes, it does. That's such an insane thing to say.
Offensively, that man's a genius when it comes to offense.
No, he's not. He had Tom Brady. It's the same thing with Dungy. It's the same thing with Belichick.
You said no, he's not because he had Tom Brady.
Exactly. So Tom Brady was the Patriots
offense. So what you about Mac Jones then?
Yeah, that's why they're not as good. So Tom Brady was the Patriots offense. That's why the offense was good. And Belichick made sure the defense was good with Brewski, McGinnis, Wilfork, Ty Law. The list goes on. And then you have Tony Dungy, defensive head coach, and yet he had Peyton Manning to man the offense. So, yes, it takes a Hall of Fame quarterback, but these defensive head coaches have had plenty of success.
I'm going to disagree.
That's
really.
That's fine. It's not sexy. I'll agree with you there. It's not sexy to watch these teams. That's for sure. Guys, these New York Jets, though, they went 4-13 last year. They were 28th as far as scoring offensive points, last in the league as far as giving up points on defense. Key additions included offensive lineman Laken Tomlinson, tight end from the Cincinnati Bengals, CJ Uzama. They also added another tight end from Minnesota, Tyler Conklin, another DB, Jordan Whitehead. And then the draft, I think they nailed it. 3 first-rounders. Ahmad Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati, cornerback, some regard as one of the best cornerbacks in the past couple of years as far as draft prospects. Then they add Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. A lot of draft gurus were calling him the best route runner in the draft. And then Jermaine Johnson, defensive end out of Florida State. Originally Georgia, transferred to Florida State, had a great year last year as far as sacks go. They did lose Jamison Crowder, reliable slot receiver for them the past several seasons, and also Marcus May, a big impact safety for them. Guys, it's boring, I know, but looking over this schedule, they have a lot of interesting games. They have some favorable home games, and then they have, they're basically the Jets is why I couldn't be too optimistic. So Zack Wilson, he's got a strong arm. I think he's kind of a wild card as far as decision-making goes. He's still a little inconsistent there. Breece Hall, rookie running back coming in, should be the top dog. We'll see what happens with Michael Carter. They still have Tevin Coleman in the backfield, so kind of an interesting backfield that happens there. Good offensive line. I mean, first-round pick, Mekhi Becton at left tackle, Elijah Vera Tucker, another high pick, Connor McGovern, they brought in from Denver a while ago. I believe they brought in – no, that's the other team. But decent offensive line. They invested in 2 tight ends. They still have Craig. What the hell's his name? Why am I blanking on their outside receiver's name? Corey Davis, former Tennessee Titan on the outside to go with Elijah Moore and now Garrett Wilson as far as wide receiver. And I said Garrett and not Garrett Wilson. I said Garrett Wilson. The Jets are an interesting team. I don't think they're going to be worse than last year, but I don't think they're going to be better. I have them at the same 4-13. As you guys mull over the schedule here, they start off week 1, home game versus Baltimore, at Cleveland versus Cincinnati, at Pittsburgh versus Miami, at Green Bay, at Denver versus New England versus Buffalo. Then they got the bye week 10. Then they travel to New England, at home against Chicago, at Minnesota, at Buffalo, versus Detroit, versus Jacksonville. So I had those 2 as wins at home against Detroit and Jacksonville. And they finish up the season at Seattle and at Miami.
Their season's over before week 8, before their bye week.
TJ is the in-house Jets fan here. Why are you so optimistic about this team going into 2022?
I don't know if optimistic is the right word, because when I look at this, I'm going to tell you why I like the Jets so much. I'm a sports fan, and when I see a team struggle for year after year after year after year, I want to see them start doing good. I want to see them make a playoff run. I want to see them shock the world and show up at a Super Bowl. I want to see these things because I'm a sports fan. When I say I'm a sports fan, when I was a kid, when Michael Jordan would come play the Mavericks, I wanted to see Michael Jordan put up 90 points and the Mavs still win by 10. I'm a sports fan. Looking at this as a fan, I'm optimistic because week 1 they play Baltimore, but if they play them on September 11th, a lot of people are going to overlook this. 9/11 in New York, they have a chance to win this game because a lot of people just say, oh, it's the Jets, we're going to win. but you're forgetting a lot of the emotion that's in this. So
9/11 in New York, Saudi Arabia, 12 of the 15, 12 of the 15 of the 19 hijackers.
Ain't their head coach ain't he from the Middle East? Yeah, Robert Saleh is from the Middle East.
I mean, he might not be from Saudi Arabia.
Well,
he's the Prince of Persia.
Realistically, I see the Jets maybe winning 5 games. Maybe.
So what makes me, and I'll give a little nugget here for you guys. TJ says he's got a place in his heart for the Jets, as do I, and I'll tell you why. So I was born in Cortland Memorial Hospital. Cortland County is in the heart of New York State. When you picture New York, you think of the city. That's fine. It's way down south. It's way east. The state of New York, actually. When you put your finger in the middle of the state of New York, that's exactly where Cortland County is. And that's where I was born. I was born in Cortland Memorial Hospital. And a couple of years ago, the New York Jets switched their training camp from where they were practicing, and they came all the way out to my tiny little dairy, podunk, meth-infested, welfare abound hometown of Cortland County, New York. And they had their training camp out there at the campus. So I got to see LaDainian Tomlinson up close. I got to see these guys like Calvin Pace and Mark Sanchez and DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Sean Green. And I believe Jericho Cotchery was on the team at the time. And that was the first year they came. So that was really cool. I was working at Walmart, the old store before they were produce. So it was like, these guys. I remember Darrell Revis was on the team at the time. Here's a fun story. I'm working in toys at Walmart, and Darrell Revis. Sorry to throw you under the bus, sir, but you wanted a bicycle from the toy department. And it wasn't just any bicycle you bought from me. It was a scratch and dent bicycle. And for anyone who knows retail, scratch and dent means that this bike had been used and it was reduced in price so that it was a different price. And Darrell Revis of Revis Island, top cornerback in the league, said, I want this shitty little bike. And not only do I want this shitty little bicycle, I want you to pump up the tires again for me. So I did that for Darrell Revis. I took our scratch and dent bicycle, I took it to the back, I filled it with air in the tires, and I gave it back to him. So it was very exciting. And then the next year, after all that happened, some of the businesses in my hometown changed up their look. Doug's Fish Fry, shout out to the best fish sandwich you could possibly get in Cortland County. They changed their entire restaurant outlook, so it was all pictures of Jets, and there was green everywhere. And on Main Street in Cortland, they painted green everywhere. And Rex Ryan did a whole press conference on Main Street. And I went to a bar one night, and Rex Ryan was out there, and he did a shot of beer pong with us, and he totally missed it, went off the table, and it was fine because it was Rex Ryan, and we all had a great time. But the next year, Tim Tebow came by, and Tim Tebow was my favorite player in college, and I totally wanted to get his autograph. But my God, if there wasn't a swarm of people around, and I couldn't even get within a 2-mile radius of where the hell Tim Tebow was at the time. So I say all that to say this. I have a soft spot in my heart for the New York Jets, and I hope they do well this year. But Nate, how do you feel about the Jets?
Realistically, their season's over before the bye week happens.
I say all that, and that's how you're going to start off what you said?
100%. Realistically, I have a lot. I like what they did this year in the draft. They had a couple key pickups in free agency, but realistically, not a lot of teams go from 4 to playoffs. Not a lot of teams go to 4 wins to playoff teams. It just
not a lot of teams are the Eagles. You're right.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often. You look at
say it. You can say it.
No, you look at their first. You look at their first 9 games. Playoff teams. First 9 games, playoff teams except for Denver and Miami. You got Baltimore, Cleveland.
That is true.
Cincinnati. So you at home against Baltimore.
How did that happen? How did you give one of the worst teams the hardest schedules in the league?
Because whoever makes the schedule don't like shitty teams. That's why.
My God.
Dude, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. That's your first, 4 games? And then you have Miami, who they picked up a really good receiver in Tyreek Hill.
Divisional opponent.
Those games are usually tough. And you're at Miami, or you're at home? You're at home.
Yeah,
so you're at home. Then you got to travel to Green Bay. And then to Denver.
Loss.
And then you come back off two away games against New England and then Buffalo, your bye week. Then you have New England off the bye week. Yeah, no, your season's over before the bye week. It's over after the bye week. Because I don't see them like really like turning it around. Not like this. Now, they do have a favorable matchup towards the end, but I don't know. It just.
I gave him 4 wins. TJ gave him 5. Are you willing to go higher?
No. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna say 4.5. I give him 4.5.
How do you win half a game?
I'm gonna say 4.5. I can't give him a full 5, but I give him 4.5. They may win a 5th game, but I don't know. I don't see that.
Well, let's go fish. Let's go. When I go to edit this episode, I'm going to insert Will Smith here in his "Welcome to Miami" song. Hopefully, we don't get copyright on that.
Probably will.
But the Miami Dolphins, who actually had, although their offense struggled last season, they had a pretty effective defense, middle of the pack. As far as points scored goes, 22nd on offense, 16th on defense, points given up. But how about this? A division best 48 sacks. I mean, the Steelers led the league with 55, so the Dolphins had 48. Not bad. Hopefully they can build upon that.
It's not bad if your offense isn't. It's bad. It looks bad because your offense didn't do anything for you.
Right.
That's why it looks bad. That's why it looks bad. If their offense was a little bit, they had some success, it wouldn't look as bad.
They went 9-8 last season. To my surprise, I mean, I didn't think they'd win that many games. It was kind of a weird season. They started off with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then or was that 2 seasons ago?
No, it's 2 seasons ago. So they started what?
Tua started all the games last year?
Huh?
Tua started every game last year?
Tua started not all because I know he got hurt. I know he had I think he missed a couple weeks. But they started 1-7 and finished, was it like
9-8?
9-8. So they went what, 8-2, 8-1? 8-1 to end the season, which wasn't bad. It was just kind of late, but
to fire your head coach after that kind of season.
Hell yeah, I'm firing his ass. Fuck up out of here. No, I'm not. You got to go. You got to roll up out of here. No, no. And the thing is, the reason why they fired him, Brian Flores, the reason why they fired him is because he didn't like Tua. That's why they fired him. He had an issue with Tua, and I have an issue with Tua. Tua's an Alabama quarterback. Again, there's probably outside of Mac Jones, there probably won't be another Alabama quarterback that's going to seek success in the league. And Brian Flores,
Jalen Hurts went to the postseason last year.
Jalen Hurts was from Oklahoma. We're not going to do this. Jalen Hurts was from Oklahoma.
Wow.
Anywho, they're not Brian Flores didn't like Tua and he wanted to move on from Tua, and the organization wasn't having it. And that was the biggest issue there. I think that's one of the issues why they fired him. Because honestly, I wouldn't have fired him, but I felt like they were at a turning curve. They were at that. They were going in a good direction. And now that you fired him and you bring in the offensive coordinator from San Francisco, he's done such a great job. They're gonna. I don't know. I can't see them winning very many games this season.
But don't you think they're just racist?
I don't. I don't see it as racist. I see it as it's one of those situations where you do what we say or you got to get the hell out. And that's pretty much what it was. It was exactly that. It was you do what we say and you stick with this guy or your ass got to go. And that's what it was because there was no reason. They've had a winning season the last 2 or 3 seasons? I think they had a pretty decent win. So why fire him? There was no reason. Your defense was playing great. Your offense was kind of stagnant because of Tua. And I feel like it's still going to be kind of stagnant because of Tua.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a run. I mean, they signed Duke Johnson. I wouldn't, for whatever reason. They got rid of Devontae Parker. He's gone. You get Tyreek Hill, but it's no good having a guy with speed if your quarterback is just going to overthrow him or underthrow him. You miss him. Get sacked in the process.
Hang on, keep it going.
So I don't think new head coach. You still got Tua. He still hadn't proved a lot. You fired a video guy because of the video he put out because of on Tua. So that's an issue. So I don't think Tua's he's gonna make that leap into his second year or third year?
I think third year.
This is third year. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make that leap like everybody's expecting him to, especially with a new head coach and a new offense. And I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna make that leap. It's gonna be a bad year for him.
I think it is gonna be sad. I think they've added a lot of weapons to try to build him up. This right here, hopefully, is
that's the video I was talking about.
So this, according to Miami Dolphins Twitter, was supposed to be like the fire pass of the offseason. And it was like, oh, watch Tua just hit Tyreek Hill on this deep bomb. It's unbelievable. You can't wait to see what happens here. And just watch what happens.
He throws a duck.
Slow motion. It's in the air. Not a bad spiral. And Tyreek Hill absolutely had to stop and wait for it to get there.
And they fired him for it.
I mean, my God.
He got fired for it. Could you imagine him having to stop in the middle of the game to catch a ball? No.
That's not over his shoulder.
Not at all. He has to come back for it. Like, that's an interception, honestly. That's getting picked off. That is easily a pick six the opposite direction.
So obviously, as you see there, I mean, the Dolphins were big this offseason. They added Tyreek Hill. They added offensive tackle from New Orleans, Teron Armstead, who was a big get for them, even though he's been banged up. A signing, I think could really pay off, even though we don't think about it right now. Teddy Bridgewater. Quarterback coming in. He's been in Minnesota. He's been in Carolina. He's been in Denver. I'm not saying he's going to light the world on fire, but he could be consistent enough to move the chains more so than Tua.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
But here's my question for you, Dylan. If you have a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, would you sign him?
If I'm the Dolphins, yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Because he has shown an ability to read defenses, get the ball out quickly. He just doesn't have the spectacular traits. He doesn't have the arm strength to chuck it downfield. He doesn't have the mobility, to make big plays. Honestly, him and Tua might, at the end of the day, they might be the same guy, but at least Teddy has the experience, so you can
here's my question
on that.
What, as a head coach, what does your job rely on? What keeps you employed?
Winning games.
Exactly. So if you're not winning games, if you have a guy like Teddy Bridgewater who's not consistently winning games and he hasn't had success in his league, so now you bring in Teddy Bridgewater, who's probably going to be top 20, 25, 20. If success is the reason you stay employed, well, I wouldn't bring him in. I couldn't, because it's bad enough. I mean, all he can do is teach Tua what to read a defense, but obviously Tua can't read a defense to save his life.
We got Jay Cisneros in the house. What's up, dude?
He's
finally made it to a show. Thank you for showing up, sir. We really appreciate it. Would love your feedback. We're talking AFC East right now. We're on the fish. We just showed this fantastic highlight, the underthrown ball from Tua to Tyreek Hill. What do you think about the Teddy Bridgewater signing? We're talking about that right now. Personally, I think it's great. If Tua gets banged up, you're going to have the same type of offense. Teddy has the experience that Tua doesn't have. So if he's struggling, if he gets injured, you're not missing a beat, and you might even get better. True, again, you're not getting these spectacular traits, but by having him there, at least if he goes down, if he's struggling, the offense won't miss a beat. And then back to the additions, because I didn't quite finish. We got hung up on Bridgewater there, which is a great point. I want Jay's feedback, and I want TJ's feedback. They also added Connor Williams, offensive guard from the Dallas Cowboys. Brought in Melvin Ingram, pass rusher who's kind of kicked around lately. He was on the Chargers, most recently with the Steelers. Now he's with Miami. Running back Sony Michel comes in here from the Rams. Chase Edmonds from the Cardinals. Raheem Mostert from the Niners. So they have a nice little trio of running backs. Also brought in Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys, another wide receiver. They do lose Devontae Parker in a trade with the Patriots. And Will Fuller, the experiment gone very wrong last year. He never really panned out, never really got on the field after a finger injury that just turned into...
He's really not getting on the field now.
Yeah, chaos. TJ, these Miami Dolphins went 9-8 last year. They have a new head coach. They have a same quarterback, but a lot of different weapons. Decent defense from last year. Do you see the Dolphins at least finishing second in the division? Do you think they can overtake the Patriots behind the Bills?
No. Dolphins will go 9-8, 8-9, somewhere in that ballpark. They'll finish up about the same they did last year.
That's a high for a
9-8 is pretty good.
It is. I mean, if they still have Brian Flores, I'd probably give him 10 wins if they kept Brian Flores. But
if Tom Brady was on this offense, I would say they make the postseason.
They won the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? You see the weapons around? No, there's
Maybe Brady's kind of maybe instant. Yeah. But I mean, a competent quarterback with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, Gesicki showing flashes, and now they have should be a decent offensive line to go with that trio of running backs.
Hold tight. I'm gonna let you run that back a little bit. Say that again about Mike Gesicki. He's what?
He's shown flashes. That's what I say. He's shown flashes.
No. Don't be disrespectful. Don't do that. Don't be disrespectful to Mike.
What are you about to say?
That guy, he is the Dolphins' offense. Don't be disrespectful. Don't do that. Don't be disrespectful.
Wow.
If he had a competent quarterback, he'd be a Pro Bowl tight end. Hell, I think he had a Pro Bowl season last year. I think he had a Pro Bowl season last year. Did you see half the stuff that he had to do because of Tua? No. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Don't be disrespectful to Mike Gesicki. Don't do that. That man is the Dolphins' offense.
I didn't know you were such a fan. I'm sorry.
Now the argument could be made with the running game getting better. It could create open wide receivers. It could. It definitely could. The problem is, can these running backs that they have stay consistent? Because we all see Sony Michel has bounced around. I thought I guess I see who the real talent was in Georgia now.
So here's why I think this is a great strategy. What could work for the Dolphins is what worked for Alabama so well with Tua, is the RPO, the read pass option, the run pass option, whichever you want to call it. If you have this depth of Michel, Edmonds, Mostert, throw in Myles Gaskin from last year, serviceable back. If you have those guys running behind Armstead, last year's first-round pick, Eichenberg, a couple additions with Connor Williams and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. They got Mostert, exactly. So a nice little depth group of running back. Hopefully they can do the offensive line. But where they want to have success, this is not going to be a Josh Allen aerial assault, right? Tua's not a vertical guy. But if you can get the RPO going, if you can draw the linebackers and the safeties up to the line of scrimmage, now you might have something going with Tyreek Hill going deep, Jalen Waddle going deep. They brought in Cedric Wilson again. So hopefully, now I got to read it. Jay says, didn't they bring in Mostert from the Niners? He's fat. Correction, fast. Yeah, he is very fast. He's not fat. He hasn't reached that Eddie Lacy part of his career just yet. But yeah, they want to do. They're trying their best to emulate Alabama's offense from when Tua was there, and they had a solid run game with dangerous weapons at wide receiver. So,
but I have a question. I have one quick question. Here's my
hit me
question.
with that quick question, baby.
How many defenses are going to come in afraid of the Miami receivers?
You have to be afraid of the receivers. You're going to not be afraid of Tua. So I'm sure if you're starting on week 1, I'm sure the team that's facing the Dolphins is going to be in base defense with both safeties deep. And if they don't threaten after about, if they're not threatening deep ball at all in that first series, it's 8-man in the box or, whatever. 9 in the box, 8 in the box, fucking let's go zero coverage and see if Tua can actually hit the guy.
I think this year, what I think the Dolphins did this year was kind of smart. Is they're gonna take all the excuses from him. Is they basically set him up for success with the offensive line and the receivers, the running backs. If he fails again, they move on from him. This is last year. This is last year's starting QB. If he doesn't play great, he's done. He's going to be a backup for the rest of his career.
It is very ironic how similar he and Jalen Hurts, their storylines are playing out right now. But we are moving on to the next team in this division, and that is the former dynasty, perhaps the greatest head coach in all of NFL history, the New England Patriots. They've got Mac Jones. They've got a running game. They've got a decent defense that's losing pieces. Is Dante Hightower coming back? Jamie Collins probably not coming back. A couple of real experienced linebackers off the team now. Clearly, it's been a while since Stephon Gilmore. Now, who knows at DB? So this team is looking more questionable.
Where did Stephon Gilmore go?
Currently, he's with the Colts.
Oh, yeah, he signed with the Colts. That's right.
So New England opens up the season at Miami, at Pittsburgh, at home against the Ravens, at Green Bay, at home against Detroit, at Cleveland. Then Monday, October 24th, they have a night game against the Chicago Bears. That ought to be interesting. Probably not going to watch that game. That'll be a very boring game, I would imagine. A Monday night game in Gillette, New England and Chicago. No, thank you.
I need to know who made who. Like, for me personally, if you're making schedules, I'm putting the exciting things on prime time. I'm going to switch it up. Even if I got to go on a fly, I'm putting like prime time games. If the Patriots got to play the Chiefs, that's a prime time game. That's not a 12 o'clock or a 4:30 game. That's a Sunday night, Monday night game. Hell, even a Thursday night game. I'm tired of these fucking schedule makers putting these boring ass games on prime time. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to spend my Thursday night, Monday night, or Sunday night watching bullshit. Give me something exciting.
At this point in their careers, I do not want to watch Justin Fields versus Mac Jones. I just don't. I don't want to see this ground and pound. I don't want to see what's his name, Damian Harris versus David Montgomery. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be ugly.
I think the Mac Jones Kenny Pickett matchup is going to be nice. I don't think Trubisky's getting the start, so let's just get that out the way. Trubisky's not going to start for Pittsburgh. If he does, someone's getting fired.
What's interesting to me here, real quick, in the comments, Jay says that he likes Mac Jones and he thinks he's got high upside. I'm curious what you think the high upside is, because it's clearly not mobility. So do you think that Mac Jones can be a cerebral assassin like Brady, or what's the high upside there? I would imagine that's what you think it is, right? If you don't think he can be a Josh Allen type where he's moving around, and yes, I'm naming white guys. Mac Jones is white. I'm sorry. It's easy. But if you don't think he can move around and make plays like Josh Allen, then his high upside has to be that he's Tom Brady, right? Like he has to be an in the pocket assassin. I don't think he's that just yet. I think he's Tua. I think he's very much an RPO quarterback right now.
What? You think he's an RPO quarterback?
I think that's what he did well at Alabama, and he hasn't shown me anything.
I think
otherwise yet.
I think for me personally, with Mac Jones, he has a little mobility. He's not a Josh Allen type mobile or Patrick Mahomes type mobile, but if he needs to, he can run. He can get up out of there. I think Trubisky starts. Someone getting fired if Trubisky starts week 1.
Jake come out of left field giving us a Pittsburgh Steelers prediction. That was last week, Jay.
Someone's getting fired. I think Kenny Pickett he's going to beat Trubisky in the QB battle this offseason. Mac Jones he has a lot of upside. I don't think he's going to be a Tom Brady. You can't replicate that, but he's going to give them what Tom Brady really could. He has the mobility to get around. He's not, like I said, he's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but he has the ability to get around. Jones will be a mini great value Tom Brady. Coach Billy will mold him. Exactly. That's what it's going to be. He's going to be a great value version. Huh?
The wording there. So he's going to be a mini Walmart version, great value version. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. He's going to be Tom Brady-esque. He's not going to be like Tom Brady. Okay. It's like when you get the great value ketchup. It's not Heinz, but it's still ketchup.
Listen, people said that about Garoppolo. People said that about Matt Castle. And I'll believe it when I see it.
All those people are probably fired by now. Garoppolo and Matt Castle were far from Tom Brady. We still see Jimmy Garoppolo.
Far from Mac Jones? I guess we'll see. What really surprised me was the points scored for New England. If you guys were to guess where they ranked in points scored offensively last season, TJ, where out of 32 teams, where would you guess the Patriots ranked last season in points scored?
32 teams. I'm going to say 21st.
Nate?
I'm trying to think of a lot of their games, and a lot of their games wasn't real high scoring. I got to say they were probably like middle of the pack, maybe 16, 17.
Six.
This
team was 6th in points scored last season. I was blown away by that.
That can't be right.
So they were 6th in points scored and 2nd.
So they were averaging what? Almost 30 points a game?
I mean, I went on ProFootballReference.com. If someone wants to, double check me or prove me wrong, by all means. But yeah, 6th in offensive points scored last season. So they ran the ball very effectively. I mean, I remember that first game against Buffalo. I think Mac Jones threw 6 passes. It was just the Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson show.
That was a Blizzard game. Yeah. And then that Blizzard game, when they first played Buffalo, they whooped Buffalo. Buffalo couldn't do anything. They were tired before that game was over. They
added Devontae Parker in a trade with the Dolphins. They added Zack Wilson, linebacker from Cleveland, in a trade with them, which may seem under the radar right now, but I think Zack Wilson is a very talented player, a young player, ascending player in this league. Drafted Cole Strange in the first round, which I know turned a lot of heads.
I understand. I don't understand Bill Belichick's thinking, but I don't get that one. I didn't get that draft pick. I felt like it was a waste, but he gonna mess. I mean, look what he did with Tom Brady. No one believed in Tom Brady. No one believed in him.
Well, and it's. Listen, when it comes to offensive weapons, it's not like they've exactly cashed in. I mean, their history of first-round wide receivers is terrible. But we'll see what happens with Strange. I liked him at the Senior Bowl. He was the type of guy. He's a smaller guy. He reminds me of Jason Kelsey on the inside. When he lost on the first rep, he never lost on the second rep. So he's definitely a guy who learns from his mistakes. He knows about leverage. So if he can add more weight and strength, we'll see. And then they added wide receiver out of Baylor, Tyquan Thornton, in the second round, the fastest wide receiver in the draft. So we'll see. Yeah, you throw him in there with Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. Maybe they have some sort of wide receiver core. They've got two very talented tight ends.
I like their wide receivers last year. I think Mac Jones.
They're workers. They're blue collar. Yeah.
It's especially for me the game that stood out to me as far as wideouts was the Cowboys game. Was when obviously like for me personally obviously Diggs had that pick 6 and then they come right back and hit him for 74 yards. Like I think for me I like their receivers and I like the addition with Devontae Parker. The Titans were good. I can't they held their own. They just didn't have a lot of help outside.
They didn't live up to their potential last season. Like for the names that they are, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, they didn't live up to like that Gronk Hernandez combo that everyone was waiting for.
And that's because of the wideouts. And that's honestly, the wideouts were not comfortable starting the season. Towards the end of the year, they got comfortable because you can see Hunter Henry was starting to make a lot of like red zone touchdown catches. And I think this year Devontae Parker is going to help them add on to that roster. So I can give him 10. I can give them 10 because I can look at the schedule. Let's see. Let me look at it. Scroll up.
What's interesting with the schedule too is starting Thursday, November 24th, they have 4 primetime games in a row. So on Thursday, November 24th,
that's probably a Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, they're at Minnesota. And then on the 1st of December, another Thursday night game, they play the Bills at home. And then on Monday, December 12th, they travel to Arizona Monday night to take on the Cardinals. And they follow up with a Sunday night game at Las Vegas Raiders. So that's pretty cool for New England. They got 4 primetime
they got another primetime Saturday game
in a row.
Again, with Cincinnati, that's a primetime game Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 1:00 game, but hey. I can see, you look at the first game, the Dolphins, again, for me personally, I give them the win. Pittsburgh, if Trubisky starts, they're losing that game, hands down. Baltimore is going to be a tough one. Green Bay is going to be a tough one. They can beat Detroit. Baker's not playing, and Deshaun Watson's still trying to figure out who not to touch when he's getting a massage. So Cleveland, I'm gonna give them that. I give them Chicago. I give them the Jets. The Colts are going to be a tough game, but again, they got Matt Ryan, so we already know how that's going to play out. So I can see them winning 10 games, but I don't see them winning the division though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think they lost J.C. Jackson, their top cornerback.
They did lose J.C. Jackson. He went to the Chargers.
Yeah, so they lose their top cornerback. If Dante Hightower doesn't come back, that's a very experienced linebacker. So they really haven't gained anything defensively, and then I don't think the offensive gains are enough to say it's going to make a huge difference. So for me, New England went 10-7 last year, which all things considered, rookie quarterback is pretty impressive. I think they regress. I think they go 7-10 this year. TJ, you got any type of record for the Patriots?
7-10.
No, 9-8.
9-8.
Yikes! I'm gonna say they repeat.
I'm notably pessimistic. I've noticed when it comes to records. Like I don't give teams double-digit wins very easily.
I'm gonna say they repeat. I'm gonna say they don't regress. I'm gonna say Mac Jones. This is gonna be his sophomore year. He's gonna take that next step into that leadership role. Because I've already seen there's been reports coming out like they're saying that his leadership is already where it's ahead of where he should be. So I think it's going to be. I think they're going to repeat in 10-7.
We'll round out our AFC East divisional breakdown.
The almighty Bills,
last year's champions, the contenders, the root of all this playoff controversy. Oh, should the other team get the ball back in overtime? Oh, he needs the ball. They already changed the rule. Oh my God! If only Josh Allen had the ball again, the Bills would have blah blah blah. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they changed the rule already. So now both teams, I think both teams get a possession even after
Both
a touchdown.
teams get a possession. In the playoffs alone, it doesn't apply to the regular season, for whatever reason. It's just to get the most money in the playoffs, of course.
Right? That's the only reason why they changed it. That's the only reason why they changed it, because of the playoffs. And honestly, I mean, hey, listen, if you lose the coin toss, then tell your defense to step up.
Dude,
Really
is there any accountability for defense? This is
None.
America
Zero.
in a nutshell these days. Just
There's
no
zero
accountability
for defense. Zero. So what you're gonna say is, well, we lost the coin toss. No, your defense was ass. Your defense was tired and they couldn't cover. That's what happened. That's why you lost the game. Just like for me, prime example, when the Saints said, "Oh, we got screwed by the Rams." No. You had multiple opportunities to end the game to win. You were in overtime. Drew Brees threw an interception. Nobody told Drew Brees threw an interception. Hell, nobody told your kicker to miss the field goal. But hey,
but of course,
let's blame that missed call.
Now we got new rules.
The Bills win the division. They go 11-6.
Oh, so they have the same record as last year. This Bills team went 11-6 last year. They were third offensively in points scored, first defensively in points allowed. Key additions include offensive lineman Roger Saffold coming out of Tennessee, solid player. Von Miller, big-time contract coming in from the Rams. Nate and I were talking about that pre-show. TJ, you may have missed that one. You were a little late. And then Jamison Crowder coming over from the New York Jets. Just a small trip north from the New York Jets up to Orchard Park.
To replace Cole Beasley.
Exactly.
I think he's an upgrade from Cole Beasley, to be honest.
Why do you think that, Nate?
Because I'm gonna be honest. I never.
Why do you think two very effective slot players who may be identical in every aspect possible? Why would you think Why would you think one guy is better than the other, Nate?
Because Cole Beasley's an ex-Cowboy and he hates Cowboys.
No, it's not. I never
That's
liked.
Not where I was going with it.
I never liked Cole Beasley. I never did. I never saw the hype in Cole Beasley, and it just, for me, it's just like he was more. I mean, what did he really do? He wasn't like an Edelman or
he moved the chains.
Yeah, all right. I watched a couple Buffalo games, and I rarely saw him catch the ball. But anywho, I say he's an upgrade because Jamison Crowder, skill-wise, he's better. Speed, route running, he's better.
That's so crazy that you would just automatically assume right off the bat that Jamison Crowder is faster than Cole Beasley for whatever reason. I wonder why you would ever think that. Huh.
It's not because he's white.
Oh,
if that's what you're assuming,
there it is, folks. There it finally is.
It's not because he's white. Okay, I personally just don't like Cole Beasley. I didn't see the hype in it when they signed him in Buffalo. I didn't see the hype, and I didn't see the Cowboy fans were so sad when he left. I'm like, what are y'all really losing? You didn't lose much when he left, so you replaced him right away. So I just didn't see the hype in him. So. No, it is what it is, but I think that's an upgrade for Buffalo. I think Jamison Crowder is going to help, especially in the middle of the field.
Yes, you have Crowder in the slot. You have big time, big paid, money making wide receivers still on the outside. Number one, Stephon Diggs, man in the outside there. Just great connection with him and Gabe Davis now. Former third-round pick out of UCF, who came on strong last year. He's been okay.
Towards the end, yeah, he did towards the end. He had a couple big plays in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't know how well he's going to be. I feel like players that come on late in the season is because, a lot of people don't know who you are and they don't have a lot of film on you. Once they get filmed, then they're going to start learning your tendencies and they're going to start learning the ways to take you out the game.
Well, I think all he needs to do is all they need him to do, which is run straight and run a post, and that's it.
Just run two routes. That's all we need.
Run two routes. Diggs and Crowder will do the rest. And then you got Dawson Knox still at tight end.
He's great. I like him. I like him as a tight end. That dude's. And then they added one of my favorite players from Georgia, Delvin Cook's younger brother. So
that is correct. James Cook.
He's gonna help that. He's a receiving type running back, so he's gonna get a lot of play time. Like he's a third down back. He's gonna give you everything.
Yeah, hopefully for them, he can be the all-around back that Singletary and Zach Moss have not been able to be just yet. They also added Kaiir Elam, cornerback from Florida in the first round to replace Levi Wallace, who they lost to Pittsburgh in free agency. So all that said, I got them bumping down from 11-6 to 10-7. I think their schedule's a little bit tricky. They start off at the Rams Thursday night, which should be a great game. The first week of the season, Buffalo at LA. Then they follow that up with a home game against the Titans Monday night. Should be a great game. Derrick Henry, Buffalo has suffered big time rushing attacks in the past, whether it was the New England last year or, they're very susceptible. Kansas City, yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a day against them, so hopefully they got that patched up. But they follow up their game against the Titans at Miami, at Baltimore, versus Pittsburgh, at Kansas City. Then they have a Week 7 bye, followed by a home game, a primetime game against the Packers. Then they go to New York to take on the Jets, versus Minnesota, versus Cleveland.
Dude, that is horseshit. Do you see that stretch?
That's pretty nice for them. They take on the Vikings at home, the Browns at home, and then they have the Lions
on Thanksgiving. Then the Patriots.
Can I just say, stretch. NFL, Roger Goodell. I'm begging, I'm pleading, for the love of all things sacred and holy and
Lions on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Please stop putting the Lions on Thanksgiving. I don't know when this tradition started. I don't know if the Lions were good then.
No,
they're not good now.
They weren't good.
They haven't been good for the past 40 years, and we're tired of falling asleep on Thanksgiving to watching the Lions suck.
Well, at least it's a 12:30 game. At least it's 12:30 and not a late game. But Jesus. But if you look at that stretch, dude, it's just starting from the bye week.
Yeah, they travel to New England. This is an Amazon game, so good for me. You can get my Amazon Prime membership. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Followed by December 11th against the Jets, December 17th or 18th, if we're feeling frisky, at home against Miami. At Chicago on Christmas Eve is a Saturday. Then they take on the Cincinnati Bengals at home Monday night. That should be a pretty damn good game, actually, January 2nd. Might be for all the marbles. And then January 18th, they wrap it up against the New England Patriots. January 7th or 8th. So all that said, I know, TJ, you said you had the Bills going 11-6. They're going to repeat from last year. Nate, how do you feel about this Bills team? What's their win total look like? And tell me what you said before the show about Von Miller.
Well, I'm going to start with the Von Miller thing first. So Von Miller was paid, what was it, 6 years, like $120 million? That's too much for a player his age. 6 years is way too much for a player his age. I feel like they could have negotiated something way better. They could have given him an Aaron Donald deal. If you're willing, just give him Aaron Donald. I'd have gave him 3 years. 3 years max. And I'd have gave him whatever they gave Aaron Donald. But I don't think he's gonna be a double-digit guy. I don't think he's gonna. What they're paying him for, he can't do. And I think they're paying him to lead that defense. That's what they're doing. You don't pay a guy 6 years, 120 or however much his contract was. You don't pay a guy that much to come in and just be a second fiddle to whoever your top pass rusher is. So it's gonna be. I think they're gonna realize they wasted money on him, and they're gonna be stuck with him for the next 6 years until he decides to retire.
TJ, I got two questions for TJ real quick.
Go ahead.
First one, if you owned the Buffalo Bills, you had the Jim Kelly years, you had 3-4 back-to-back Super Bowl appearances gone wrong. Your team has sniffed the championship so often. Josh Allen, you got a small window here with a primetime offense. Would you not back up the Brinks truck and give Von Miller whatever he asked for?
I agree with what Nate said, but here's the problem. Von Miller is a leader not on the field, but off the field as well. One thing about me is I am a huge supporter in having a leader in the locker room, whether it be on the defense, whether it be on the offense. When you get to that locker room, I think that morale is a big part of football or any sport for that matter.
For sure.
So when it comes to the NFL and when it comes to these things, I don't think this is necessarily a make it or break it year for the Bills, but I do think that window, like you said, is closing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the owner, I'm probably throwing the money at him. Do I like it? No, I don't. But I'm throwing the money at him.
He's north of 30, and that's usually bad for pass rushers.
Listen, every one of us on this show is north of 30.
Exactly. So we know what it feels like. So
I can go out there. I could maybe get half a sack.
For what, the whole year?
The whole year.
I didn't like it because of his age and I agree. TJ said he's a leader.
I wouldn't get a single sack all year.
He's a leader on and off the field, but at the same time, I'm not paying you just to be motivation. I'm not paying you just to be have that leadership. I need you to produce. The money they're paying him is I need you to get your ass out there and I need you to be the Super Bowl Von Miller is what they're paying him for. And I just, for me personally, at that age, he's 33, coming from the Rams had a stacked defense last year. Like, let's be honest. They had a stacked defense. I mean, when you have Aaron Donald anchoring your defense and anything else around him means nothing. Like anything else, because he's going to get the attention first. Everybody else is one-on-one. So all you have to do is win your one-on-one matchup. That's all you got to do. So I think they kind of I think they jumped the gun when they was like, oh, he had a pretty good season last year. Yeah, he did. Now, unless they're bringing him in for like that championship, because he knows what it's like to be involved in Super Bowls and how to get there, I can understand that. But at the same time, I just didn't understand the contract. I really didn't.
I think Von Miller's got 2, possibly 3 really solid seasons in him. I'm not going to say top tier, but I think they're solid seasons. And again, as an owner looking at it, do I like it? No. But guess what? I'm probably going to throw the money at him.
I didn't give him the money. The money for me is not the issue. It's the length of the contract. They signed him for 6 years. Like, he's 30. He's not making – I don't see him making it 39, not as a pass rusher. Most pass rushers usually call it a career at like 35, maybe 36.
I see him playing to 36, maybe 38 at the very, very most.
So you think he might make it to the end of the contract? Maybe like the last year. Maybe. Well, it's just for me. It's just going to depend on the workload. Like, because I mean, I think they have a pretty. They were top 10 in sacks last year without Von Miller.
I don't think so. They were like middle of the pack, I think.
I mean, they still. I can see adding him. I'd have gave him like an Aaron Donald deal. I'd have gave him 3 years. Maybe 2 years with, X amount of money guaranteed for me, to be honest. But 6 years for that amount, nah. But I mean, hey, I don't. And the thing is, you keep saying I don't think their window's closed. I think their window's there, because I don't see very many teams that are on a rise as far as that can knock off the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, obviously we all know a coin toss is the reason why they were back. They made it to the AFC Championship game. We all know that. It was a coin, it was a flip of a coin. But I don't see a lot of teams. I don't see a lot of teams in AFC coming up. I don't. Pittsburgh, they got a young quarterback. It's gonna take him time to get molded. The Baltimore, how long does Lamar Jackson really have left?
2 years. 2 years if he's lucky.
Right. Cleveland, they got a fucking guy who don't know where to keep his hands when you get massages in Baker. So there's not a lot of great teams in the AFC that can dethrone Buffalo.
It's just how long can you keep up? Stephon Diggs. How long can you pay him?
You can replace him.
He's
great. Don't get me wrong. He's great, but I think for me personally, I think what's going to happen is that I think that he's gonna help mold a lot of these young guys, and I think next year they might take a receiver early, just because they know Stephon Diggs is on his. He's up there. He's up there in age, and I think that they're gonna have to find his replacement at some point.
Defensively, I mean, obviously they finished first in points given up, but like you said, they shelled out all this money to an old vet to try to fix a problem they think they have. So, I mean, what does that say for the state of the defense?
That's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Because at some point, that money's going to come in. That money's going to come in. There's going to be an issue. Like, you're going to have to pay your young guys. You're going to have to pay some of them guys that's been anchoring that defense for the last couple years.
So that's more what I meant. I just think offensively, this team's game plan is let Josh Allen figure it out because we don't have a run game. And he's not exactly a timing quarterback. He's kind of just drop back. Maybe you got to run around for a bit and see what happens. And then defensively, we got good safeties. I like our linebackers, but we're kind of searching for a pass rush. So that's all I was kind of getting at there.
But I mean, they wasn't awful. Josh Allen's he definitely made like a huge step from his first couple seasons. He's made a huge step. So I think he's going to keep improving, and then I think next year they add a big name wideout next year. If it's not free agency, it's either be free agency or in the draft, just to make sure they can have their future safe for when Diggs decide to either let him go or he retires.
I have a theory for the Bills, and I may be completely wrong on this. So I'm not going to try to argue it one way or the other. I am a solid believer in the old adage, great players and coaches surround themselves with even better personnel. I know Dylan's going to love to hear this. If you go back and you look at the Cowboys in their heyday in the 90s,
oh God,
when Jimmy Johnson left and Barry Switzer took over,
oh boy,
Barry Switzer walked in. He had Troy Aikman, he had Michael Irvin, he had Emmitt Smith, he had Darryl Johnson, he had Jay Novacek, he had Charles Haley. He had a loaded team, so he didn't really have to do a whole lot. He just pretty much let those guys play ball. I think Josh Allen is a good quarterback. I think he is a solid quarterback. I don't think he's elite, but I think what they're trying to do slowly at a very slow pace is they're trying to collectively build around him and get the pieces in place to maybe be better.
Do you not think he's elite because you think he is not consistent?
I don't want to say I'm not a fan of him. Like I said, he's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. I haven't seen that elite caliber as of yet. Then again, I don't watch every Bills game, so I'm not going to sit there and argue either way. If somebody wants to convince me otherwise, I'm all ears because I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, I'm just curious what aspect, because I think he has elite arm strength. I think he has elite running ability. He's scored 8 rushing touchdowns in the past. So do you just think he doesn't have elite consistency? Like, is that what you think he's not elite at?
Consistency, and again, not to harp on it, but that's kind of I think in my view of it, I think that's part of the reason they brought Von Miller in. I mean, yes, he's a good player. He's got Super Bowls. He's got the experience, and he brings that morale to the locker room. And I think people will rally around him, and maybe he can kind of build the team up for Josh Allen.
Guys, it's been a hell of an episode. We talked about women fighting. We talked about men fighting. Currently, the NBA Finals, Game 5, looks like it's going Golden State's way. It's rough.
Don't for your head.
You know, if you're like Nate and I, you're pulling for the underdogs. You're hoping Celtics win.
What?
Maybe I'm talking for myself right now.
Maybe.
But as I look at the screen, we're under 2 minutes. Golden State's up 99-85.
15-point game.
We'll see what happens. Anything could happen. But all I know is it's 2-2. It's Game 5. If the Warriors win tonight, it stays in Golden State next week or whenever the next game is.
Go back to Boston.
Listen, I don't know anything about the NBA Finals. But what I do know is we had a great time tonight. We talked fighting, we talked basketball, we talked football. I love these guys. I love talking to them. We're going to be back tomorrow night. Just Be a Dad podcast. Same time, same place. You guys got anything before we get out of here?
I mean, well, I'll let you go first, TJ.
I got 2 things. Next week, I'm going to tell you why Dallas won't win more than 10 games and they'll lose the division.
Perfect.
And A&M won't win more than 9 games.
Oh, wow. See, TJ, he's self-deprecating. He's a hater of self, and we appreciate that. Nate, what you got?
Montrezl Harrell is facing felony charges.
Really?
Police found 3 pounds of marijuana in his car last month.
You know, Montrezl Harrell is going to be forever in my mind as the guy who called Luka Doncic a bitch-ass white boy. So, take that for what you will. MFers, we love you. Thank you for liking. Thank you for following. And thank you for sharing. TJ, Nate, myself, we had a great time. And we will see you next week. Goodbye.